Yo, what up, YouTube? I just want to hit on this topic real quick, man. Like, I've been seeing a lot of things, people coming into understanding of the truth and what have you. And one thing I really hate to see, you guys, to be honest, is I cannot stand people talking about, the black man is God. No, the black man is not God. That's a common misconception that is placed amongst people because, they find out that, Israel, okay, Israel, the Hebrews, were black people, okay, and also ancient civilizations and what have you was formerly ruled by all dark skinned people, by all black people. All right. A lot of your you know what I'm saying, upper dimensional ETs, what you would call ETs, angels, what have you, all right, is commonly black. I'm just be 100,000% honest with you. This world is a lie, your elites and what have you. Like, current day upper crust or whatever, all of this, animosity. This is something that the Most High said that will be done to humble his people because we were stiff necked. All right. We were stubborn. We got what we deserve. All right. So, another thing that I want to talk about is, people getting on this. There's a lot of hype and stigma about, adrenal chrome, which is found in the blood. Okay, people who die horrific deaths or whatever, they something about a chemical reaction causes adrenal chrome. All right, some type of chemical byproduct to go in your blood that promotes a certain type of high, the same way people get high from smoking weed or what have you. Um, and I just want to be honest, so and very visceral, so that you guys can understand the predicament that you're in. Okay, um, a lot of us as believers, if you believe the word as being true, need to get off your high horse. The predicament that you're in, to be honest, in many allegories that's in scripture, is you are a food source. Don't get it twisted. You're basically a blood bag. All right. Vampires, okay, in Blade 2, okay, they're called reapers, okay? Angels are reapers. I'm not saying that they're creatures. We don't, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're beyond a vampire, but, um, I do believe that serpents a lot of the time get, you know, bad vibes from the fact that, you know what I'm saying, when the fallen angels, made it with, you know what I'm saying, human women and begot children, and they were called mighty men of renown. Vampires also have serpentine eyes. It does not mean that every time that you see a pupil like that, that's a serpent. More than likely, that's a vampire. Okay. All right. When you have a vampire that's half human, half vampire, they call it a dhampir. That's what Blade is. Okay. So that would be like a mighty man of renown mixed with a human being. Okay. But when you have a reaper, an actual, fallen angel, okay, fallen angels are not demons. Demons are Nephilim. They're the offspring of fallen angels. All right. So when you have fallen angels, you know what I'm saying, hooking up with human women, then you get something closer to like a vampire. And vampires got all kind of powers and stuff like that. All right. So when you think about terms of substance and life sources or what have you, our because of our transgressions and what have you, and the way that our unruliness before God, our lifespans have been shortened. All right. So when we talk about a harvest, that's why angels are called reapers, because they reap in the harvest. Or when you do so-called, when people believe in karma or the whole deal with you reap what you sow, which is written in scripture, that's what it is. If you put in good work, you're gonna get a good result. If you put in bad work, you're gonna get a bad result. All right. It's fundamental, but fundamentally, in the essence of the entire kingdoms, thrones, dominions, and powers and principalities, human beings got to get off this high horse. You are ultimately a food source. All right. The reason why you're on a high horse is you're trying to take the accolades of Christ because he covered you in his blood. Okay. And you're trying to put that on yourself as if you're something. You're not. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white or anything like that. Okay. The closest you could get to Christ is to be in the spirit of Christ. All right. I just want to be very clear with that with everybody. You're a part of his body. All right. But it's written in scripture that he shares his glory with no one. All right. You don't have the stripes and you ain't willing to go down and through what he went down with. All right. That's a whole nother element. So a lot went into our salvation and being able to be forgiven and protection. All right. So when people get on this whole black man as God, I'm gonna tell you right now, they full of crap and they don't, they don't have the truth. All right. The only thing that separates any man, there's only two types of men in the world. There's the natural man and there's the spiritual man. Okay. Christ was a spiritual man. He happened to, come in the form of black skin, you guys, but black skin does not make the individual. This is the same thing with, you know what I'm saying, images. All right. To be a spiritual person, to walk in the power of the spirit is not going to be your skin. By your skin, you heavily oppressing all this. And this is through the misunderstandings of how natural men carnally understand spiritual scripture. All right. That's why you have caste systems and that's why you have all of that, what have you. When you had a white slave owner fall in love with a slave or whatever, they called him what? A nigga lover, right? They were treated the same as the black people were. All right. So that's a spiritual situation through a misappropriation or connotation of what things actually are. All right. So caste systems and everything like that doesn't matter. The natural man is going to have enmity with the spiritual man. That's just fundamental. That's what scripture is talking about. You have to come at scripture with a higher understanding. All right. So I just want to put that out there. There's vampires also. Okay. And vampires also have pupils like serpents. All right. Who knows? That might even be the fulcrum of the enmity that was placed between man and the serpent. If the Bible was speaking in a double entendre. But truthfully, the Bible is talking about the enmity between the natural man and the spiritual man. So when the Bible talk about daughters of men, okay, when you have a fallen man and a fallen daughter of men, okay, because mankind fell. When you have a daughter of just a natural man get with a fallen angel, the offspring of that is going to be from two fallen spiritual lines. All right, that's your mighty men of renown. All right, their ways are going to be incredibly wicked. That's just what it was, unless they come into the truth. I also want to point out this thing with demons. Some were cast into the bottomless pit. Some were allowed to be here on the earth. Okay, so if that's not an aperture of grace from the Most High, I don't know what is. And they're there to test you. All right, people are still trying to allocate this targeted thing to physical things, what shirt somebody was wearing. All that is childish, man. Sometimes you got to step away from the painting to see the bigger picture. That is spiritual. You're a sealed servant of Christ, and you're walking around a bunch of open containers. That means Joe Smo that's next to you might not be Joe Smo all the time. He might got a spirit that jump in him because that spirit's trying to get to you. We know this is the same thing that happened in the Garden of Eden when the devil jumped into the serpent to get to Eve, to get to Adam. All right. It's the same thing. All right. But if your mind is operating in a 3-dimensional format or even a 4-dimensional format, you're going to miss things. You have to be tactically minded to understand spiritual things. And people are going to call you crazy. Right. But those people are kind of like laymen's. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can't come off the top of the head with what you perceive. You're targeted to an aperture of your awareness and how much you have been exposed to. All right. So a person may be living a haunted house and never know it. Because they don't have the awareness or the exposure or the understanding poltergeist or demonic activity. But at the same time, somebody that does have awareness of that or or comes to awareness of that, recognizes it's a spiritual thing. Okay? So it's a spiritual circumstance, you guys. I just want to let you know. All right? People do things, but Christ also said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." Uh, I'm about out of time, so maybe we will continue this topic later. But peace and